Good morning friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. Myself Alpesh Parekh, and today I am going to deliver a lecture on the protection of transmission lines. Friends, if you are new to my channel, please subscribe to the channel for getting latest update of my video. So without wasting much more time, we are coming to the topic straight away, protection of transmission line. In this session, in this lecture, we will be discuss why the protection of transmission line is important. Number 1, what is the requirement of the transmission line protection? Number 2, and lastly, how the time graded overcurrent protection is done for the different feeder, right? So first of all, why the protection is needed for the transmission line? So probability of the fault is more due to the greater length and exposure to the atmosphere. Friends, the transmission line is in hundreds and thousands of kilometers long and it is open to the atmosphere, so the possibilities of the fault is more as far as the transmission line is concerned. If the study shows that more than 50% of the fault are of the transmission line. So now what should be the requirement of the transmission line? So the main requirement of the transmission line is, suppose this is a transmission line, if there is a fault here, then the relay or the breaker which is nearer to the fault should be open as early as possible. That is first requirement. Second, if this circuit breaker is failed to operate, if this relay failed to operate, then another breaker which is nearer to the fault area should operate as a backup relay. And lastly, the operating time of the relay should be as minimum as possible so that the stability of the system can be obtained. So these are the major requirement of the protection system. Friends, now we will discuss the time graded overcurrent protection system. So what is time graded overcurrent protection system? Time graded overcurrent protection system, the time settings of the relay is so graded that the smallest portions of the system is isolated from the system. So here I will discuss two important cases of the radial feeder. Number 1, radial feeder. Now what is radial feeder? What is important characteristics of the radial feeder? So in the radial feeder, power can flow only in the one direction. That is the main feature of the radial feeder. But at the same times, there is a disadvantage. Disadvantage is that here, if the fault occur, then the continuity of the supply from the generating station to the load is not maintained. So time graded protection of radial feeder can be achieved mainly by the two methods. One is definite time relay and second is inverse time relay. Friends, this is the figure or the circuit of the time graded overcurrent protection using definite time relay. What is the meaning of definite time relay? Definite time relay means time of operation of particular relay is fixed and it is not dependent on the operating current. Look at here. This is A, B, C, D. Here time is mentioned as 0.5 second, 1 second, 1.5 second and 2 seconds. Means we are increasing the time as we are moving towards the generating station, right? Now if there is a fault in this section DE here, look at this. So what happened? The circuit breaker nearer to fault is D, so it will operate within 0.5 seconds and the section DE is isolated from the system. So the stability of the system can be maintained. So it's a very simple protection, but at the same time, what is the disadvantage as far as the definite time relay is concerned? Disadvantage is that this is the only one feeder I have shown. But from the generating station, if the number of feeders in the series are more, then what happened? The tripping time for the fault, the trip, as friends, as you have seen that the fault is here, then this relay will operate at 0.5 seconds. Here it will operate at 1 second. So as we are moving further from the generating station, it will operate very quickly. But if the fault is nearer to the generating station, it will take more time. And as far as the stability of the system is concerned, the maximum time to clear the fault is 2 seconds. So now we will discuss the second method, inverse time relay. So what happened in the inverse time relay? This is the figure of the inverse time relay, right? So in the inverse time relay, as the name suggests, the operating time is proportional to operating current. Operating time is inversely proportional to operating current. So as we are moving farther from the generating station, this is generating station, as we are moving farther from the generating station, the operating time will be lesser. So here what happened? The disadvantage which we are facing in the definite time relay, like suppose the fault is here, the relay will operate after 2 seconds. So that disadvantage can be eliminated here. Look at here, this is the characteristics, operating time versus distance A, B and C. That means if there is a fault in between section B and C, this is the operating time of the B. So this particular relay will operate B because its time is less than this. So it will operate and this section is eliminated. So this is the way how we can get the protection using inverse time relay, right? Now we have to discuss the parallel feeder. This is the parallel feeder. Parallel feeder is important where the continuity of the supply is needed. This is generating station and this is two feeder. This is feeder number 1, feeder number 2. Parallel feeder is employed where the continuity of the supply is very much important. This is the symbol of non-directional relay. This is the symbol of directional relay. This is feeder number 1 and this is feeder number 2, right? Now as you can see from the figure, parallel feeder can't be protected by only non-directional overcurrent relay, but we have to use non-directional as well as the directional relay for the protection of the parallel feeder. Now look at the arrangement. So this is the G, generating station side. This is the substation. You can see this is the substation. So you can say a substation side. Non-directional overcurrent relay are put A and B. These are the non-directional relay put on the generating station side, and the substation side directional relay Q and P are put at the substation side. As far as the characteristics is concerned, this generating station side relay are having inverse time characteristics. So A and B have the inverse time characteristics. This is mentioned here. And P and Q, which is nearer to the substations, have the instantaneous type characteristics, and it will operate only when the power flow in the reverse direction. Then and then these two relay will be operate, right? Now actually ideally what should happen? If there is a fault, suppose the fault is here, then only this relay A and P and the circuit breaker to open and clear the fault, and this feeder number 2 should not be disturbed, right? Only the faulty feeder should be cleared out and the healthy feeder should get continuity of the supply. So how can we achieve that? Now let us discuss if there is a earth fault as shown here. Here earth fault is there, F. So the fault is fed via two paths. One is directly feeder 1 via relay A. This is the feeder 1 via relay A. And what is the second path? Second path is feeder 2 via relay B, Q, substation P, and then fault. So these are the two paths which I have mentioned. Now what happens when the earth fault occur here particularly? Power flow in this section BQ. This is the section BQ. Power flow in this section is in right direction. So the relay at Q will not operate. But what happened? The power flow in the P is in reverse direction. So that is why this relay P will operate. And as I have mentioned, the characteristics of the relay at P is the instantaneous type. So what happened? So the relay at P will operate instantaneously and it will trip this circuit breaker. So this circuit breaker will be tripped. So now what happened? The feeding of the fault via path B, Q, substation and the B. That means B, Q, substation and P. This will stop because this will operate. This circuit breaker will operate. So this path B, Q, substation, P and then fault, it will stop. So current at B becomes normal. Now this is stop. So current at B becomes normal and relay at B is not operative. That is why this relay is non-operative. But still the fault is fed through the A. So the relay at the A will be operating and the circuit breaker will be tripped. So what happened? This circuit breaker and this circuit breaker of this faulty feeder will trip. Thus the faulty feeder A and P is isolated and the healthy feeder BQ will remain in the circuit. So this is the way how we can achieve protection of parallel feeder using direct, non-directional as well as the directional relay. Thank you very much for watching.